Hello, and welcome back to Tier List Tuesday. Let me adjust the camera ever so slightly. Today I am back with another tier list, as you might be able to guess. It is called Rubik's Cube's Ranking Tier List. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say that I am by no means a Rubik's Cube master, and in fact I've only really solved a few different kinds. But, you know, I have some experience, okay? So, back in the day, I used to be able to solve a 3x3 Rubik's Cube in probably an average of like 30 seconds, which I would say is pretty good. Just my personal opinion, not too bad. You know, my fastest was probably like a sub 20. I was also capable of solving 4x4s at some point and 5x5s. Well, I should say 5x5x5, but you get the idea. 2x2 is easy. There was also like some kind of pyramid one that I could do. It might be on here. And there's also a void that I was able to do at some point. Anyways, all that is to say that I do have experience, but I have not seen 90% of these probably. But that's okay because, you know, this is just going to be a fun little thing. It is created by Krivox FTW. Oops, sorry. And yeah, I'm just gonna basically rate them on how cool I think they are and how interesting I think they would be to solve. So that being said, I actually wanted to mention, totally irrelevant, but this music video that I'm using, or like the video that I'm using for the music, is by Chris Ramsey. It's uploaded by Chris Ramsey, who I didn't even realize until right before recording this it was uploaded by him. He's like a magician, but also he's really famous for doing like puzzle stuff on his channel, so check him out. He does really cool videos. Anyways, hashtag not ad. My god, we're starting off strong, huh? So we've got this thing which looks like, I don't know, like a 10x10 or an 8x8, 9x9, something like that. I don't know, bro. These big ones, like, I just don't really care about them most of the time. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in D. Like what are you doing with your life, right? Like these things are gonna take you 10 hours to solve, let alone if they burst, you're gonna be stuck here for the rest of your life trying to put it back together. I feel like it's a waste of time. The only exception is this one, because this is the GOAT. Like, I can't even comprehend it. I don't even know what I'm looking at here, but you can just tell by looking at it, this is the GOAT of all cubes, aside from, you know, we'll get there. But, I mean, look at this thing. It's like, it's not even flat. It's not even a cube, right? It's got like rounded edges and planes. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. It's amazing. 2x2. I could solve this thing. This thing is terrible. Like, if you can solve a normal 3x3, you can solve a 2x2. Straight up, you can solve it. Because there's... Essentially, imagine the 2x2 is only being the corners, and you don't have to worry about the edges. That's all that it is. It's extremely easy. It's a waste of time. This thing's goofy. I put it in E. I don't even know. 2x3x2? Why would you want that? And then look at this. You know, this thing's kind of cool. The 2x4x2, like, I don't even understand why you wouldn't want to use that, but I guess depending on how it's constructed, I could see it being slightly more interesting to solve. But yeah, it's pretty goofy, huh? I'll go ahead and put it in D tier. It's not the worst thing I've ever witnessed. This thing, E tier. A 2x3x3? Nah. You're just messing with greatness at that point. And you know, while we're at it, what is this? A 1x3x3? Like, what even am I looking at? How is this even made? How did they create this abomination? Get in the WTF tier. Alright, 4x4. 4x4 is okay. I actually had like a speed cube version of the 4x4, which is kind of funny. I don't know. They are not too interesting from what I remember. It's actually been a while since I've solved anything of this nature. But from what I recall, you know, they've got some uniqueness to them, but overall, I wouldn't rather, like, I would not prefer to solve a 4x4 or anything else over a 3x3. So put that there. 5x5 I think is gonna be, you know, I'll put 5x5 in C tier. It's a little more interesting because the middle portion is actually just like a Rubik's Cube, right? It's like 3x3, so I think that's kind of cool. And that's one of the things that's interesting as you get further and further up. You'll notice, like, you know, the solvers start from the center and work their way out, and eventually it just becomes, you know, like the smaller and smaller versions. So if you know how to solve a larger version of a cube, you can actually solve the smaller version. Pretty much, I want to say guaranteed. Well, I don't know about the 1x1x3 or 1x3x3. A 1x1x3, yeah, that'd be a good cube. Anyways, we got the 6. Yeah, you're going back down. Like, at this point, you're getting too goofy. Okay, you're getting too goofy. It's like a sinusoidal wave, right? The more dimensions you add, the less dimensions, the more, the less, right? It goes up and down, and eventually it just reaches the peak and then the bottom, right? These are the two sides of cubing. Now you've got an apple. Okay, C, I guess. C for the novelty, right? Like, I'm sure it looks cool to solve, but like, why? Same with the banana, why? Okay, low-key, the apple's kind of hard, though, B. This is what you gotta realize, is that this tier list is kind of hard because so many of these are just like, why do they even exist? But then you realize, like, well, you know what? They're kind of goofy, and that's what makes them interesting, right? Like, the apple, what's even the point? But also, like, that's kind of lit, right? This thing, I don't know. I don't really like these. I've never, like, seen one in real life or in person, I guess. But, you know, they get into, like, weird shapes because of the, you know, the shapes that make them. But I don't really like that, honestly. I think that's kind of, like, it's just too weird for me. I'm not a fan. This thing, you know what? This thing actually looks like it could be interesting to solve. It's like a cylinder, right? I think this one could be cool. I'll put this in B, and it's not because it's goofy. I just think that it could be cool. Is this a Rubik's Cube? This is a children's fishing game. I don't even know, like, what this is. I don't know how you would go about solving this at all. Yeah, get in WTF tier. This looks like, okay, this looks like a 1x2 by 1.5 F tier. What is this? Why are there so many goofy looking Rubik's Cubes? I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but look at these. Like, what is this? What is this? What is this? How are they even constructed? What is this? How do you even mix this up? Like, how do you mix these? I don't know if I completely comprehend their design or engineering, but I commend the people that designed and engineered them. This thing, you'll go in E tier. This thing, okay, this is like this, but with an extra dimension added, so you can go into D tier. I don't think anything's gonna get an A. I'm just letting you know right now. This thing, okay, you know, this looks like a better version of whatever this is supposed to be. This looks like it could actually be interesting to solve. You know, I'll put an A tier. I haven't seen this, but I think this one could be cool. There's only so many ways you can turn it, but like, I like that the different sides have different shapes to them, right? If you notice, like, the green and orange look similar, but then the white is different from the others. I think that could be cool. These, I'm putting all these in WTF because I don't even know how they work. Okay, this thing's lit, actually. You know what? This one is just crazy enough that it's piquing my interest. Like, what are these shapes and it's all the same color, right? Like, I think the fact that it's all the same color is what's making it elevated above this version. Because they look pretty similar in how they're constructed, but this one has the different colors per side. This one has the same color for all the sides, so it's even crazier, even wackier. This one, I'll go ahead and put it in, this one in B tier, because it has more sides, right? It's not a cube, but it's not like a lower dimension either. It actually adds more dimensions, which I think makes it marginally more interesting to solve than the others. This thing looks boring. This is like this, but less dimensions, but I'll still put it in C because it's like a beginner level, right? It's like before you work your way up to this one, you're gonna solve this one. And now we have the cube, the OG, the Rubik's Cube. Obviously it's the GOAT, right? I mean, it's even more so than this one. I think that if they were to go back in time, and if they were to invent the Rubik's Cube, but they made it a 4x4x4 instead of a 3x3x3, I actually don't know if it would have had as much success. Like, I don't think that it's nostalgia or bias or the fact that it's like the OG that makes the original Rubik's Cube the GOAT. I just think that it is the GOAT. Hot take. The lemon. I could see the lemon being on an equivalent tier of the apple. I could see that. This thing, I've never really seen it, but I have kind of seen it. You kind of just like flip it around, right? It's not like an actual cube, it's like a plane. I think that's actually kind of cool, kind of interesting. All right, we're nearing the pyramid levels. So this is the one that I had originally. This is the one that I solved. This one was boring. I'm not gonna lie. It had some interesting things, and you know what? I'll go ahead and put it, I'll actually put it up in C because it was satisfying to move the parts around. Like, they really clicked and were really smooth, but like the overall solving process wasn't very gratifying, I would say. This one, on the other hand, looks like way more complicated, but not in a bad way. Right, like you can kind of see that it's just an extension. It adds an extra layer to this one, and I think that's just what it needs, just to be a little bit more complex and challenging. This one's great for trying to, you know, solve it as a beginner, but this is the true pyramid experience. This one, listen, you're trying to encroach on the territory of the big daddy goat. You're not doing it very well, though. I think you're going in D. This one. Oh, this one's like the same as this, so I'll go ahead and put it in C. Right, it's the step up. This one is like the level 1, this is the level 2, this is the level 3. All right, these, I don't really understand them, but I think it's similar to this design in that it's like, because it's like different shapes, they're kind of cool. So yeah, sure, I'll put this in B. This one's going in D though. It looks too easy, honestly, like not enough different shapes. I don't even know what this is. This is just a bunch of balls. I'm putting you in F tier. I don't see a puzzle here. It's just a bunch of balls. This one is really similar to the cylinder, but I think I like the cylinder more, so I'll go ahead and put this in C. Now we have orange, peach, and pear. Orange is literally just a sphere. Peach is hot, and pear, I don't like pears. What is this? This is like a miniature Rubik's Cube inside of a 2x2. F tier, because you're breaking my brain. Need I say more? I don't actually understand what this is, so I'm going to put it in WTF tier. I'm going to put this one in E tier, because even though it looks terrible and I don't understand how you're supposed to mix it or shuffle it or how it works at all, I think that intrigues me. That actually makes me interested in seeing how it works, because it doesn't make any sense. This one, F tier. This one, D tier. This one is worse than this one. Now, what is this? This is not a cube, and this is not a Rubik's. This is just a shape. You're going in F tier. This is the other one that I solved, the void. Now, the void is like kind of interesting because it has no centers, right? So because there's no centerpiece, you kind of have to figure out how to orient it, and it's actually not obvious. Because sometimes you'll solve the entire thing and then realize that the centers are just one off, and so it's not solvable. That being said, it moves terribly, and once you get beyond the like novelty of it, it's not an interesting solving challenge. So I'm gonna put it in E tier. This one is just like a lower tier version of this one, I think. No, this one. That's what I meant. It's like a lower tier version of this one, just barely. So I'll go ahead and put it in B tier. You know, the beginner version, right? This thing looks crazy, actually. What is this? I've never seen anything that looks like that, but I'm intrigued. I don't know how it would work, but I think that's what makes it interesting for me. And now we've got these, which I don't even know what they are. Like, they're pyramids, but they've got squiggles in them. Are these part of the same line? Are they easy? Are they hard? How do you even mix them or solve them? This is what I don't get about half of these, is how do you mix them? Like, where is the axis along which these mix? I don't know, and for that reason, this is going in F tier. This is gonna go in C tier, and this is going in D tier. All right, sweet. I know I kind of speed ran through this one, but to be honest, there really isn't much to say on most of these because, like, I don't even know how they work. I've never seen them before. I've never solved them before, but it's kind of just like a vibe check. And you know, I'm pretty satisfied with my list. I could probably move some of these around. Like, these probably don't all deserve F tier, and these probably don't all deserve E tier, right? Like, I'm definitely downshifting most of these, but I think it's valid of me to say that most Rubik's Cubes are introduced just for novelty, and they aren't actually interesting solves as much as some of the other ones. Like, listen, the Rubik's Cube, it's an interesting solve because of how well it's been understood, right? And just the speed at which you can do it. I think that's what makes it great. Some of these other ones are just like, they're just like whatever, right? They're weird and they're wacky, and that's chill. But for me, that just isn't enough. That's just my opinion. Hey, and you know what? I'm not a speed cuber. I'm not a speed solver. So take my opinion with a grain of salt. All that to say, that's going to be it for me for today's video. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you have a good rest of your day, rest of your night, wherever you are in the world. And I hope to see you next time on another Tier List Tuesday, where I will once again be talking about something that I know nothing about. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here. Peace.